What up, everyone? This is a Nosebleed Perspective. Thank you for joining us today. Pretty cool and good weekend, I would say, in the NFL. We're joined today by the co-host Gibby up there. We also have the Bouvy Brothers. Welcome back, Dallas and Ben. How we doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. I must say, we are joined by the unofficial Guinness World Record holder of the amount of blueberries eaten in 1 minute. Congratulations, Mr. Ben Bovey. Hey, that's no easy task. I didn't get to see it on camera. I wish I did, but congratulations nevertheless.
I appreciate it. Through Christ, all things are possible. Thank God. I want to thank family, my support structure. All these things. God is good all the time.
I don't know if it was good with those blueberries coming out. I mean,
Oh,
you did have to get on an airplane the day after you tried to break that, or did break that record, I should say?
yeah, I had to go to Denver. It was not a good flight. It was not great.
And you did attempt to break the record for most Reese cups?
Oh, he sure did. He sure did try.
Didn't even make the halfway point. Not proud of my performance. I'm resilient. I'm a champion. I'm proven. And I will unleash hell in December.
I could tell on the second Reese Cup that it was a wrap.
Second one. I mean, it's hard to go back to back too, I would think. So you started with the blueberries, and in a matter of minutes later, you tried more sweets, more sugar. That a record in itself. Valiant effort. You're a soldier in my mind. The blueberries is pretty cool though. Hopefully we can get your name in that book.
Oh, it's coming. Once I get this sheet from Guinness, I'm going in the damn book. That's happening.
If you don't paint your whole head blue the next time you do it, then what are we even doing here?
I'm getting a banner tattooed on my back that says World Blue.
Alrighty. Well, this is Nosebleed Perspective, real sports show. So we're gonna kind of go into some sports here. We're joined by the Bouvy Brothers, big Steelers fans, obviously. So we're gonna talk about them since they are the top team in the NFL right now, record-wise. As Mike Tomlin said, we ain't perfect. The only thing perfect about us is our record. So
gotta love them.
That was cool. So Pittsburgh, they come out, smack the Jags in the mouth, finally play above their competition. That had to feel good from your all's point of view.
Tell me.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts going through? You're playing a rookie quarterback, Jake the Snake, whatever the hell his name is. So you kind of had to figure that maybe this was going to be a bad matchup for him, but still, a lot of the money was on the Jags because of their past performances. But how you feeling after this week? Go ahead, Ben, lead us off.
So I'll just say that I've had my criticisms of the Steelers this year, the way they've performed in certain scenarios, and I've accurately called certain things like that Dallas game where they kind of played down a little bit, but this is a team that's rounding into form leading into that last half of the regular season, leading into the playoffs. I like everything about what's going on right now. I like everything about what's going on with this team right now. They are playing determined. They know what they're playing for, where I feel like in a couple of the past years, there have been times in the season where they lost track of what they're really playing for, which sounds stupid, I know, because everybody's playing for the Super Bowl. But this team is on mission.
On a mission.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal in that game, number one is to win the game, but to leave that game with no injuries, no COVID, that's a win in itself right there. I mean, you go there, you handle business, and the starters are out of the game by the fourth quarter. It's exactly what you want to see.
By the way, at Florida, no fucks either about the COVID. They're letting everybody in there. So that is a good point, valid point, I would say.
And I'll tell you what, the Steelers fed off of that crowd.
Yeah.
I imagine there was more Steelers fans there. Oh, there was.
Of course there was.
Yeah.
Of course.
So the best fan base in all sports we are. I mean, we just are. They're everywhere. We're like cockroaches.
Yeah, they are. They are everywhere. So Mr. Chase Claypool probably should be, I know on that first list that came out for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I don't even think he was top 10. What's dude have 9-10 touchdowns right now or something stupid like that? I mean, just dumb. What's this dude's deal? I mean, do you guys think you have somebody? You're going to send Juju, kick him out to the curb? How you feeling about Mr. Chase Claypool? How good is he actually going to be? Because, no one really kind of knew what he was going to do coming out of Notre Dame, but your all's thoughts on him?
Well, I mean, Mapletron is an absolute freak. This guy is a total freak show. I poured extra syrup on my waffles Sunday morning because I knew he was going to eat. I just knew. Now, I mean, look, I want to say he's got a trajectory to be a top 10 wide receiver in the league. But I mean, you look at this rookie class, and there are just so many guys. There are guys all across the league that came out of this rookie class. So as much as I want to say he'll be top 10, I don't even know where he ranks in the top of this rookie class, honestly. I mean, he's incredible, though.
Yeah, I mean, we saw CD go out, and he's been solid all year with Andy Dalton.
Absolutely.
Make that people who are watching. I mean, I know I have not played professional football, but that catch he made in the end zone, right, was the way he moved and contorted his body was really impressive. Yeah, there are a lot of good guys out there. Gibby, Chiefs fan, obviously. How worried are you about the Steelers team going into the playoffs? Because honestly, it's probably Chiefs are gonna find a way to get there. They are. I mean, you don't have to. I know you're gonna be modest about it, but the Steelers are the real deal, and that defense, if they can stop you guys a couple times when maybe you shouldn't have been stopped on a certain drive or two, could be in trouble because that defense for Kansas City looking a little suspect at times.
Yeah, real suspect as of late. First off, Chase Claypool, the reason he's so good is because he wanted to be an NHL goalie. So the man can just move and get around everywhere. But the man was too big and too tall, and he kept getting hurt. So he's like, oh, I guess my backup is the NFL. That's why the NHL is the best sport. But as far as the Steelers, yeah, that's not a team you want to play right now. Like, they're just kind of clicking, and it's week, going into week 11, and this is when you really want to start getting hot. So that's about the only thing I'm kind of holding on to is maybe the Chiefs get it together. That offensive line that's just, no excuses, no excuse league. But they're just, that offensive line is not the same as it was early on in the season. It's not the same as it was last year. And you got to have a good line to keep up with the Steelers. And Big Ben is the piece that I did not see this happening at all. I didn't think Ben would be able to do this. And, that wide receiver core is tough. So definitely, if this playoff started right now, I wouldn't be too happy, but luckily the Chiefs got a few more weeks to hopefully get hot. That D-line for the Chiefs is not playing good either. So,
Well, it's going to be fun. The Ravens are looking a little suspect. The Browns are just winning by default in bad weather at this point. But anyway, we'll circle back to the AFC North here in a minute. But first, let's talk about two teams who, they don't have winning records necessarily. Obviously, we got the Detroit Lions and the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, the Lions come out. Teddy Bridgewater's hurt. He's not playing. You're starting an XFL quarterback, a dude from Temple who was undrafted, been waived, I think, 12 times. I mean, the dude's fun. He was fun to watch in the XFL, if you guys did watch that. But Matt Patricia, we got to talk about him. Is he absolutely Dunzo 100% in Detroit after laying a goose egg, 0 points against that rookie head coach and an XFL quarterback who throws 2 picks in the end zone? Gibby, go ahead and lead us off on this one because I know you probably have some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Patricia, here's a fun Matt Patricia fact. He's 1-7 against rookie coaches. Like that's an alarm right there. Like how? Like you had Bill Belichick, you had all this room to prepare. He beat an intern Arizona coach. I didn't even recognize the name. He's so bad. And I think people forget just because it's the Detroit Lions and stuff. When he took this team over, they were 9-7 back-to-back years. Like they were on the verge of making playoffs and making a run. That's why they got Matt Patricia, because they thought he could be the next guy, but it didn't end up working out that way. And he's 13-28 since then. So,
I mean, all you got to say about that is poor Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more does that guy got to go through?
He's got to get out.
I mean, he's an awesome quarterback, and I mean, they've paid him a ton of money. But I mean, all that happens is they get talent, the talent leaves, and he's stuck with a terrible coach. I mean, Matt Patricia, I wouldn't be comfortable with him coaching my kids' football team, let alone my professional football team. I mean, he's a bum. He can't scheme. His defense is overrated. I mean, this guy got a head job, and he was the coach on the defense for the Patriots in the Super Bowl that gave up almost 40 points to Nick Foles.
Oh,
yeah.
Bum.
Hey, Nick Foles, who's going to start that game next week?
Mitch.
Oh, God. It doesn't matter. Anyway, go ahead, Ben, if you have some thoughts on that.
Detroit, they're just awful. That's just every time I come on here, I feel like I spend a solid 5 minutes shitting on the Cleveland Browns, but instead 5 minutes to shit on the Detroit Lions. This is just historically wastes great talent. I mean, it starts, you can just think off the top of your head, Barry Sanders. Wasted a career there. They wasted Matt Stafford's career. They wasted Calvin Johnson's career. They people's careers. They're a terrible franchise. They had a couple okay years in those early Ndamukong Suh years when they had that really good defensive line where they drafted defensive tackles in the first round in I think it was 5 years. So they had some
out of Auburn too.
Yeah, they had some solid defense there, and it was going along with Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford, where he would just throw that ball with that big old country going arm, and Calvin Johnson would go up and get it. But they're just bad, and the Matt Patricia hire is more on the franchise than it is on Matt Patricia. He was never a good coach. Yeah, he was probably never belonged with the head, the main headset on. He was never the guy.
Right.
He walked around. Yeah, he was on the sideline with the pencil in his ear and that stupid ass beard, and Bill Belichick disciple. And how many Belichick disciples have panned out? Not many.
I mean, you do got Brian Flores right now, though, who has been
awesome. But that for that you have Romeo Crennel, you have Charlie Weiss.
Romeo Crennel.
Romeo.
Harry. Bill O'Brien, right?
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's a disciple. I mean, it's not been pretty.
No. So he's just another, link in the chain that is Bill Belichick's terrible coaching tree. And that's not on Bill Belichick. It's not his job to turn these guys into head coaches. It's his job.
Yeah. All right. Well,
anymore.
Well, I mean, I just think Matt Stafford has to get out of there. His talent's being wasted. We all know that. I mean, he could really be useful too. Can you imagine him on the Colts or something like that? It just
or him on the Vikings instead of Kirk Cousins.
Something. So anyway, all right, let's go back to the AFC North. The Ravens. Can we just? I mean, I said it the last time. I think I talked to Ben, but I was kind of done with them, maybe, and I'm just done with them. I've tried to back up Lamar, being a Louisville guy. I mean, for so long, and this week I was hoping, going against the Titans, maybe they have a little fire under them. They knocked them out of the playoffs last year, but I mean, they just still look out of sync completely on offense. Like they were having a little bit success running, but not really, not necessarily. J.K. Dobbins had a little success, but other than that, I mean, I know the Titans are a good team, but I mean, they need to make some major changes. They need to look themselves in the mirror. They need to kind of all right, they figured us out. They're Lamar's running and running and running, and he's getting back to the line of scrimmage every time, maybe getting a yard. First off, where would you, I saw a quote that came out just randomly. I don't even think it was a big sports, level kind of comment, but somebody was saying Taysom Hill, better QB than Lamar at this time after Taysom Hill started.
What are we talking about? Come on.
I mean, okay, this is a wild comment, but I mean, what is I'm having a hard time with Lamar. I'm really disappointed at this point, and I mean, where would you rank him throughout? There's 2 starting quarterbacks in the league. Where would you rank him in that kind of range at this point? A year, months after he's winning an MVP.
Well, I mean, honestly, you're gonna go Mahomes is number 1, and then he's somewhere between 2 and 8. I mean, honestly, the 2 and 8 spots, those fluctuate. He's in there somewhere. I don't think this is a Lamar problem as much as it's a coaching problem. That team's just, they are getting schematically worked every single week. And I don't know if that's a Harbaugh problem or if it's a Roman problem, but they got to do something and do it fast. I hope they don't, though.
I mean, you see Malcolm Butler before the game, he's over here chirping at, John Harbaugh. I guess they were jumping on the logo. I mean, I just kind of thought it was crazy. I mean, the only person who came out there was the coach. None of the players came out there. Are they in a mindset right now that they even want to win? I don't know. Is there tension? Not sure what it is, because Lamar is a talent, but and he can drop some dimes. He can make passes he needs to at certain times. But I mean, you got it. Like we can always go back to the O-line. That can always be an excuse. But their O-line is, compared to last year, losing their tackle, old Stanley or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Big loss. Marshall Yonda, big loss. So it's just interesting. Ben, you got any thoughts on the Ravens?
Yeah, I got plenty of thoughts. First off, stick a fork in them because they're done. All right.
Oh my God.
The prop man.
Before the show, he came on and he had a fork in his hand, and I was wondering. I didn't know if he just finished like a fucking lean cuisine or something, but I was wondering. But he does. If you're listening, he has a fork. So.
But I said last week, I have faith they're going to bounce back. But I mean, how can you say it at this point? They saw a guy like that. You know what the Titans are going to do? They're going to run it, and they flinched. You know what I mean? That's just they're not. And I said it last time too. I don't think it's a coaching problem. I think it's a talent problem. They have not surrounded this man with the talent he needs to succeed. The Titans showed in the playoffs last year how you beat this team. And I said it in the offseason on this show. I said people have a blueprint now for how to beat Lamar. They do. And you're seeing it now in action. And that's not just Lamar. That's any quarterback in the NFL. The more talent there, the more these defensive geniuses they're going to game plan you, and they're going to make sure that you're not successful. That's their whole job in life. Make sure this man is not successful. The only person that's immune from that is Patrick Mahomes, because he is the best quarterback in the NFL, and that's not even a close race.
He's the best quarterback of all time.
He's in the top 10. He just doesn't have the talent around him. You put Lamar on the Steelers with all that wide receiver talent, you probably have an MVP season. But he's got Willie Snead and Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, they don't do him a lot of favors either. I mean, you saw there was one pass right in Malcolm Brown. Big, it was like a third down conversion or something. Just dropped it right in the So,
but I'm pretty happy that they're on the downward spiral, because honestly, if the entire city of Baltimore blew up tomorrow, I wouldn't care.
I would care. Let me just be clear. I would care if that happened.
Oh my God.
Take their crab cakes and their murdering middle linebackers. And,
my God.
Jesus.
Man.
Hot take. Sorry, my bad.
And he murdered two people, not one person, two people.
Well, I mean, they got to do something though. I mean, they're not winning games. They don't look good losing these games either. And whether that's a coaching problem or, play calling or the talent, whatever, they need to kick it into gear right now, because as of right now, they are sitting outside of the playoffs in that tough AFC. So we'll see what they do. But big game this week. They got the Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins both got the vid.
They got the vid.
Yeah. So
out.
But look, you're not running the ball on the Steelers anyway.
I don't know, man. The first game they did. They ran it down their throat until it mattered. I mean, I know.
Yeah, until it mattered. Give them a little, take a lot. That's the way we play.
All right, Gibby, if you want to shuffle back to that Rams game, I think I skipped that up. But we'll go to that Monday Night Football game while it's fresh on everyone's mind here. So Monday Night Football. If you guys want to just kind of talk about this, I'll lead us off here. Rams, they win by 27-24, I believe. Jared Goff looked pretty good. He had a screenplay pick, had a couple picks, but I thought for the amount that on the screen you see he was 39 for 51. He threw the ball 51 times. And the Rams as a whole ran for 37 yards. Before this game, you tell me the Rams run for 37 yards and Jared Goff throws the ball 51 times. I would say we lose by 3 touchdowns easily. So Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, big game from them. One of the best and underrated duos in wide receiver in the league. Kind of gets pushed under the rug because last year they were just didn't live up to Super Bowl expectations. Still won 9 games, whatever. But that happens. Brady, he throws 2 terrible picks. I mean, as a Rams fan, I'm watching this game and I'm like, man, we cannot keep giving him the ball and giving him these opportunities to win this game. But he did not capitalize. That last 2-minute drill, he just floats it and right into the rookies. Terrible turnovers. because at the beginning of this game, I thought Tom Brady matches up perfectly for a Rams team who plays soft coverage, runs, makes the tackle in front of the first down line. I just thought he was going to tear us up. He's going to have 47 completions for 290 yards or something like that, but not the case. AB had a decent game. Yeah, he's kind of getting more involved, so he is a problem out there. I will say that he made some really tough catches, and but either way, Rams get the win. I'm feeling good. Top of the NFC West. Gibby, you have any thoughts overall on this game or Tom Brady? Because I know you.
Yes, as long as my internet holds up. So the reason that zone defense, that coverage didn't work is because of Bruce Arians. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I hate the guy. I think he's awful. I don't understand it. There's just some coaches that he's not an NFL head coach. And I know there's a lot of love for Bruce Arians, but that his scheme just doesn't work with Tom Brady. It's the worst combination you can have.
Mm-hmm.
And there was rumors that Brady wanted to go to San Francisco and they said, nah. There's rumors that the Colts wanted and he said, nah. Now, we don't know if that's true or not, but I just feel like the Bruce Arians, Tom Brady mix up is just never going to work. They're just never going to. And of all the years, Belichick is hard on all his players. After press conferences after game, I don't remember a time where Belichick said, oh, Brady missed wide open throws. But Arians is saying that after every game. He's blamed. After this game, he said, we had a great scheme going, players didn't execute. That's an excuse for a coaching staff, and it's just awful. I love their defensive coordinator. I'm just not a Bruce Arians guy.
Yeah, he's throwing him right under the bus every press conference, just like
every time.
Tom fucking sucks. I don't know what to tell you.
Offensive line, this, that.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald had no sacks and you didn't win that game. Are you kidding me?
That's insane. It's an insane stat. But it's the one thing that honestly Tom Brady can't handle is any sort of pressure. And their offensive line in Tampa Bay is suspect.
Yeah.
As soon as you get him moving, he's done. Brady can't move. It's 3-step drop, find your first read, and dish it. Now, when he can't do that, what are they planning on doing? And I got a hot take here. I think the Rams are good. They are a good team.
Hey.
Honestly, who'd have thought this team went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago? Everybody
That's a hot take?
I'll tell you why
it's a hot take.
I made a lot of money on the Rams last night because I knew. Come on.
Yeah,
Tom Brady can't move. Aaron Donald, get out of here.
There was a couple times. If you get that pressure up in their face, Goff is kind of the same way, but a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But they had that interior pressure, and that was one of his picks was so bad. He just hands right in his face, and he just lofted it. I've never seen Tom Brady do this before. He's never done this before, and they both have to be missing each other. That is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Go ahead,
Here's
Ben.
a question.
Oh, what's
real quick. As a Rams fan, how would you feel about Matt Stafford being your quarterback instead of Jared Goff?
That's not going to happen, so I don't want to address this issue with the contract that we have.
Fair
Jared Goff, he drives me it is so stressful to watch him play football. Trust me. But he is our guy, so I've been trying to get on the wagon. I've named all my fantasy teams Gotham City. So I'm trying to get on that bandwagon as much as I can because I know we're tied to him. Anyway, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. So here's my only hot take on this. Well, I guess two. Tom Brady, where's the clutch at?
Not my goat. Not my goat.
I'm telling you, I know he's in a new place, new system. I don't like the marriage either there, because he's more of a downfield scheme guy, and Tom don't got that arm anymore.
Mm-mm.
But you're the greatest of all time, 6 rings. Where's the clutch? At some point, you got to win a clutch game. You got to be decent in primetime football if you're the greatest of all time. Now, he's still doing okay. He's still having a decent season for being old as hell and breaking away from a great coach to a middling coach in Bruce Arians, because I agree with Gibby 100%. But I will take this chance to say that Antonio Brown is not a winner. He's not a winner.
No, he isn't. You could see when he's celebrating these first downs when they're down big.
Oh,
yeah. A guy like that. We have a sports show in Pittsburgh where the host is Mark Madden, and he used to call Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown the toxic twins. I of a better way to depict those two. They're not. They don't come. When the game is really fine, they quit.
Oh yeah.
That's what they do. They quit.
Yeah.
That's not saying it. They actually did quit on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, how mad was AB after Mike Evans scored that awesome touchdown?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know he was furious.
It was the one play where Jalen Ramsey got off him.
Right.
Oh, well, it was a good game. I'm happy. So we'll move on, though, because don't want to fill this with Rams talk too much. All right. So NFC East, sticking in the NFC.
Oof.
On the other side of the country. I mean, it's almost like a game. It's almost like, all right, if this team loses and this team loses, they'll end up being even and they'll all suck collectively, like historically again. And they did it again. They all have 3 wins at week 11. It's fucking crazy. But if, Dallas, go ahead and lead us up on this one. But I'm just curious, at this point in the season, you got those 4 teams with 3 wins. The Eagles have the tie or whatever with the Bengals. They have a tie with the Bengals. So at this point, who is going to win this division? Is it just a complete toss-up, or do you have a specific team that could probably win it?
Well, I made a significant wager week 5 on the New York Giants to win this division. I think the Giants have the defense to do it. I think Danny Dimes is good enough. I think he might be the best quarterback in the division right now, which is insanity. I mean, Carson Wentz is an absolute bum. Whoever was trying to tell me that this guy is good, stop it. He's not good. He takes the worst sacks I've ever seen in my life. I mean, yeah, plus 1,500 Giants week 5. I'm a cash.
Nice. Hey, it's not looking terrible.
I'm telling you. I mean, it's up for grabs. I mean, it could go to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I had an idea of just putting hats in a name. Us like 4 people, like just putting $1,500 down on it and just drawing and that team if you win. But Ben, what do you think about this division? Who's going to take it?
I think the tie matters and the Eagles win it. But man, how mad would you be if you won this division and you lost about in the draft?
Yeah.
You need talent, and you're going to go to the playoffs, get smoked, and then be 10 spots down in the draft where you're picking a significantly lesser player. If all right, which apparently none of these teams do. But this is just an ugly division. I hate watching it. The only thing I like about this division is Alex Smith, because I'm an Alex Smith guy. I like him.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be an Alex Smith fan now at this point too. I'll say that, but man, you're looking at this photo. If you're watching Daniel Dimes on here with a coin, though, I mean,
looking like a stud.
I mean, if I had to pick, I don't want to. I think I would go with the Giants at this point, just because I think their defense is good enough.
And they're all buying into the new coach, Joe Judge. I mean, I was clowning them for hiring him, and they have all bought in.
Yeah, that's true. You never know what you're going to get, Gibby.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll go with the red potatoes, I guess. I don't know. I like their coaching staff, but I don't know. I think the Eagles have the most talent, but like it doesn't matter. Like each week, I'm like, oh, it'll be this week. They played decent enough football to win the worst division in football, but it just never happens. Quick sidebar: do you think the way Wentz is playing, he's a North Dakota State guy, and how bad he's been? Do you think that's hurting Trey Lance's draft stock? Like, man, this dude looked good at North Dakota State. Trey Lance is, I mean, last year he had like 30 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers, and it doesn't matter because you always hear like big sports shows talk about, oh, the reason that Kyler Murray got drafted is because how Russell Wilson played and stuff like that. Do you think the D2, I don't want to take a chance on Trey Lance is going to hurt him?
I mean, I think Kyle Trask is hurting his draft stock more than anything because Kyle Trask in Florida has been lighting it up.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my boy, future Pittsburgh Steeler, Kyle Trask. Trade up in the draft, go grab him. He's Big Ben Light. I'm telling you.
All right.
I think it could hurt him though. I mean, because we don't, with COVID this year, and he played the one game and he came out and I think he did throw a pick. He turned it over once. He didn't look, and defensive. Take Lamar. I mean, people are figuring him out. Maybe they're a little suspect on that. That's a good point, though. I like it. Yeah. All right. So we all don't know what the fuck's going to happen in this division, pretty much. So cool. All right. So
I need the Giants to win this division.
Hey, I'm on your side then. I'm if I know someone who has a bet on that, I'll root for the Giants for you.
Nice.
All right, so Mr. Joseph Burrow, man, he just tears about everything in his knee. I think his MCL, ACL. You could tell, by the way. I mean, it was only a matter of time, and I'm not saying this like I just came up with something out of my ass. We all know, anyone who's watched him play football this year, we knew it was coming. We knew he was going to die at some point, but it was just a matter of time. And I mean, just a couple minutes before he ended, Chase Young almost ended his life at the goal line, just decapitated him again. And it's not the first time. It's not the first time this has happened to him. And it's just continuous. I mean, good on him. He took it like a champ. The way he was like just sitting there on the cart, he's like, yeah, whatever, knee injury. But boy, that shit was, I mean, you watch the replay, yeah, I mean, it's not like Dak-esque, but it was like maybe, I don't know.
It was bad.
It was bad. But, you know, should the coaching staff take more blame for this, for putting him at risk, making him throw the ball 800 times a game and just letting him just get completely smothered every single game with that offensive line? Gibby?
I mean, it's tough to say that. I mean, obviously, if you're throwing the ball that much, the D-line just gets to pin their earbacks every play because they're not worried about underneath runs. They don't have to worry about counters. They don't have to worry about any of that. So they can just go after Joe Burrow. But also as a coaching staff that has to prove themselves, and Joe Burrow is your guy, like, I think you have to use him. Obviously, you know, they didn't do their job in protecting him, but, I mean, they're trying to win. They're trying to show that they deserve to keep their job. And above the coaches is where it goes, the organization.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
That's where it falls on. Like, you don't have I know I've said this like 8 times, but you don't have an indoor practice facility.
It's tough.
So, like,
it's tough, man.
You're an NFL team.
It's cold up there
in the Midwest, and you don't have an indoor practice facility. Like, you don't care. Like, they're the Phoenix Suns of football, and they don't care about winning, and they're just going to move on to this like it's another day. They don't care that Joe Burrow died, unfortunately.
It's just tough, man. This dude has more potential as quarterback than I have seen in a long. I mean, I'll take Patrick Mahomes out of it, whatever. But like, as like a guy going to a shitty team, a shitty situation. Patrick Mahomes went to the Chiefs. They were, you know, they won games, but he's going to the Bengals, man. And dude is like single-handedly keeping them, covering every week almost. Except my Bengals picks that I always picked in our bet every single week was the one game that you know, I could count on, but not now. Ryan Finley, not now. Mr. Ben, what are your thoughts on Joe Burrow? Who's to blame here?
This is despicable. I love Smoking Joe. I love his passion for him. I love the way he plays, but this organization has failed him. They failed him, just like they failed Carson Palmer, just like they failed everybody around him. It's just another. We talk about these bad ones all the time. They're just a bad organization, and we see them twice a year in Pittsburgh, and it's laughable how bad they are, how they just find ways to be bad. They're bungles. And it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. They're just going to keep letting this guy down. They're not going to put the people around him. And you're going to have coaches that, like Gibby said, they're going to coach a little out of desperation, trying to keep their job, and they're going to keep putting them in bad situations. Knees don't get better after you blow them out.
Yeah, I know.
They don't get better. Yeah. I hate that because I want this dude to succeed. I want him to thrive, even at the end of the Pittsburgh Steelers, if it means so, because he's just fun to watch.
Yeah. I think
he brings more eyes on the AFC North, which I love. I mean, I've been a Joe Burrow guy since week 1 in LSU because Coach O talked me into it. Coach O, you know, we got Joe Burrow. You know, as soon as he started that, I was like, well, I'm all in on LSU, and I don't have an allegiance to one college team. I basically pick a team every year, and I say, this is the team I'm going to ride with. And LSU was that team last year. It's why it was so unfortunate when he got drafted to the Bengals, who I knew were going to ruin him. How do you not get this guy one decent offensive lineman? Somebody to at least stop the interior rush. Or, I mean, how about come up with a blocking scheme with 2 tight ends? Anything. Run the ball more. Do something. You're going to ruin this kid.
And they did.
And they did. It took 11 weeks.
I know. Hopefully he can come back. I think it was the same kind of like damage that Carson Wentz took whenever he went out. That was like 2016 or whatever it was. Whenever
and he's been so good since.
Yeah,
honestly.
This man is cut him. That's the best. It'll never happen because they have to pretend like they care to make money. The best thing they could do is something they'll never do. Cut them, let them go to a real football team because they're minor leagues.
like the Pittsburgh Steelers. No.
I went half staff right there as soon as you said it.
All right, so we'll move a state over into Indianapolis, Indiana. So the Colts were, I think they were favorites in this game actually against Packers, -1 or 1.5 or something like that. So they make some noise in the play, or do you think it's possible that they make some noise in the playoffs? I mean, with Mr. Phil Rivers, obviously we know what he's done in the past for years and years and years and years. But do you think it's possible that defense and the talent around that coaching staff, they actually make a run in the playoffs? Because I mean, they've been in the games. I think the games they lost, the one game against the Browns they lost, they blew like a 3-touchdown lead, which was atrocious to watch. But I mean, where do you guys see this Colts team heading? You got respect the specs down there, Rodrigo Blankenship kicking the game-winning field goal in overtime. Dallas, lead us off on this, and just add in, how worried are you about the Packers in the NFC?
Well, number one, let me just start by saying we did a podcast about people we could beat up, and Rodrigo Blankenship was on my list because look at him. No, but I mean, the one thing I respect about Phil Rivers is that dude will burn out on the field. He doesn't care. He doesn't believe in it's better to burn out than fade away. He said, I'm just going to go up in flames if I have to win a game. And the Packers, my thing with the Packers is I think they're the biggest frauds in the league. You can't stop the run. They are fraudulent. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is overrated. I mean, is he historically great? Sure. Is he historically great right now? Hell no.
What? He's been fine. Got a couple bad picks, but
until they go down 2 touchdowns and then look at his face on the sidelines. He gives up on his team quicker than anybody I've ever seen.
Well, you could gave up on him, so there's not a lot of loyalty there going both ways. And kind of Dallas's point too, though. Tom Brady's only won one primetime game this year, and it was against the Packers.
Bad.
Come on.
Yeah, beat the shit out of him actually.
TB12 smoked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that NFC is so. I don't even know who's good in the NFC. So. I have no idea.
The Rams have as good a chance as anybody to win the Super or get to the Super Bowl out of that.
I'm starting to put that together. I'm obviously very on edge. I'm like, oh God. Quick sidebar. Andrew Whitworth getting hurt was maybe the best thing for the Rams. I'm going to put that out there. Big fan of that situation. Hopefully he just goes ahead and retires this year after his knee surgery. I know they're talking about him maybe coming back to the playoffs if they make it, but save that $10 million a year over the next couple of years, retire, be a coaching. I think he's a great locker room presence, but we saw that we can pass protect, which is the most important thing for Jared Goff without him. So anyway, back to this. So the NFC is just wide open at this point, but the Colts, do you all think?
I love their defense. I think their defense is awesome. They have a top 5 defense in the league. Who would have thought that about Indianapolis at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I mean, they got some players. They got some young guys. Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner up there in the middle. Fantastic. Malik Hooker's not too shabby. Gibby, what are your thoughts on the Colts and the Packers?
Well, this game that happened this Sunday, I was excited for it, but I should have known that this game was over on April 23rd during the draft. So the Colts in the first round get DeForest Buckner. They're like, oh, we don't really need a wide receiver, but we'll grab another one. Michael Pittman Jr. in the second round. Oh, we have 2 running backs. That's fine. We'll get another one because we're trying to win right now with Jonathan Taylor. And then the guy in the third round who made the last fumble play, Julian Blackman.
Yep.
He in the third round. Well, what did the Packers do in their draft? A third-string quarterback this year, third-string running back, and a tight end who hasn't seen the field. So one team is like, oh, I want to win right now. And the other team was like, we don't really care. People are going to show up in Green Bay, and we don't really like Aaron Rodgers. So life will move on. The Colts are not making any noise in the playoffs, though. Crybaby Rivers is not going to do a dang thing. As much as I love watching that defense play, Crybaby Rivers, I've watched him for all these years. The dude is trash. We want to talk about scam artist. He is the scam artist of the NFL. Everyone talks about how great he is. I hate Phillip Rivers so much. So,
hey, by the way,
that bias is in there, but I don't see the Colts making any noise.
You got to respect that a little bit because people do talk about him. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he a Hall of Fame? The dude has done nothing. I mean, that's a real conversation people always have, though.
It's an insane conversation because he is not a Hall of Famer. He's not.
No, please don't ruin the Hall of Fame more than it's already been ruined. Do not add this man. He joined the era of the NFL right at the perfect time. He got the stats. He's got the longevity because San Diego ownership, we talk about bad ownership, didn't care. I mean, there was seats in San Diego where you couldn't even see the field. So that no one cared. And he was just a great product of just filling stats. And
I'm with Gibby. I'm with both of them. And I've said it a couple times. Phillip Rivers, no. I'm not sold on him at all. I think that team is really propping him up. I think, the GM has done a really good job putting a good team around him. But if it comes down to Phillip Rivers winning you the game, tear up because you lost. That's just all.
I mean, got a better chance putting Rodrigo at quarterback.
Rodrigo, put him in there.
Respect the specs. That's hilarious that you put him in that podcast about people you could beat up. I was watching an interview with him on Pat McAfee show yesterday, and he said the word blessed about 85 times.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to get blessed with these hands.
Former walk-on, didn't get drafted and still wears goggles under that helmet. So, both of these teams have looked not consistent. So we'll see what they do, but I'm on your all side for that for the most part. I don't think Packers could maybe win a game if they get lucky and get the right matchup, I would say. But other than that, they're not going to make any noise. All right.
Yeah. Because you mentioned the Hall of Fame. If Phillip Rivers gets in, who stays out?
Exactly.
Like at that point, I mean, I don't want to, I know you're trying to move along, but there's a couple of years, there's going to be a lot of big numbers.
Well, everyone is going to be in.
I'm in the camp of Eli Manning shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I'm in that camp firmly. And if Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer, then Phillip Rivers is absolutely not a Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
That's a fair point.
It's tough for me. For Eli, it's tough. I don't know how I feel about it. I probably have to drink a few more beers and then decide. But I feel like if you're talking Hall of Fame, it has to be, can you tell the story of the NFL without talking about this person? So Phillip Rivers
for Eli.
That's exactly. So that's the only thing that kind of contradicts what my whole process was. You can talk about the history of the NFL and not mention Phillip Rivers in a good way one time.
That's absolutely true. You could not mention San Diego Chargers one time
at all.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, they released a Hall of Fame finalist, or was it people who got in? I know.
Quarterfinalist.
Okay. Megatron was on there. Pretty happy about that because the dude was so. I know that he didn't win, but the dude was so good. People,
get him in.
Yeah, I mean,
little LT action. That's a nice jersey.
There we go.
Where'd you get that at?
Oh, that's from the vault, brother. We don't talk.
Okay. All right.
Well.
All right. Well, moving along, we do have a topic I am kind of interested in, and Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. His brother's up there killing it in Maryland, by the way. Anyway, so last week he goes on record. He's like saying that playing in the NFL is easier than he thought it would be. Next week, fast forward a few days, he gets benched in the middle of the game by Brian Flores, and he just straight up said because of his performance. And he at that point he thought Ryan Fitzpatrick gave them a better chance to win. And then he renames him back to starter for next week. So, Mr. Bouvy, Ben Type, you want to give us your thoughts on this situation? Does this mess with that QB room at all? I know Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was kind of heartbroken, all that, blah, blah, blah. But what do you think about this kind of move by Mr. B-Flow?
I think if you're going to make a move like this, having a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick in the locker room is the perfect move. He's a guy that's been through it a couple times. He knows he's not the long-term starter anywhere. He's a journeyman. He's a mercenary.
Is he the greatest bridge quarterback of all time?
got to be the greatest bridge quarterback of all time. But if you look at just the career he's had, if he gets bumped back down, he's not going to take it, too hard. He's going to do his funny press conference where he does something, goofy with his big ass beard. But Tua is the future. Fitzpatrick knows he's the future. I don't think it really messes with anything other than maybe keeping a little bit of ego in check. Because like what you were saying with Tua, you can't just go out. When rookies talk, veterans get mad. And they go out their way to embarrass. I think we talked about on here the one time, Rashard Mendenhall talked about trying Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis broke his shoulder on the first play. So, yeah, destroyed him. So I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme.
Fair. Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this is more credit to Brian Flores. I mean, he completely changed the culture in Miami in a year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I trust the move because he's the one making it. I mean, I'm just all in on them as an organization right now. Now, are they going to get the right talent around a guy like Tua to fit his skill set? Because, I mean, he's not Russell Wilson. People want to say he's Russell Wilson. He's not. He's Tua.
That's big. Yeah.
So get the skills for Tua. And I think Brian Flores, I mean, he did the right thing. You let a young quarterback know, hey, you want this to be your team, you better play better.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think Tua just learned a really valuable lesson because the interview was with Pro Football Focus, and they're a bunch of bleeps. And basically, he was talking about the coaching staff and how well they've done and prepared him. And then he said the NFL is easy basically because of them. And, that's if you've played any type of sport, like that's bulletin board material that you can just slap on. So he learned this guy is a goody two shoes. Look at the picture, man. The man is wearing a surgical mask on the sideline. Like he wants to do the right thing, but he got caught up in an interview. But yeah, in B-Flow you trust, whatever B-Flow does, hey, I'll roll with it.
And I mean, honestly, Denver's just a weird place to play. Yeah, I mean, weird shit happens when you play in Denver. And I mean, Vic Fangio is basically just a defensive coordinator wearing a head coach's clothes.
Yeah, he's horrible. God, he's got to go. He's got to fucking go.
He'll get the D coordinator job somewhere, and he deserves it. I think he's an awesome defensive coordinator, but he should not be a head coach.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Tua though. So Gibby says big lesson media wise for Mr. Tugutaka Tagovailoa. So yeah, I mean it was very interesting. Fitzpatrick almost. I mean he let him downfield that last. I think they were down 7. Then he throws a pick ultimately, just like he does. Yeah, I mean,
it's so endearing.
Yeah, I mean, you had to know what he was going to run, throw his head in there for a couple first downs, make a couple passes, and then ultimately throw a pick. But hey, is what it is. It's Mr. Fitzpatrick. We know what's going to happen. Drew Lock, still not a fan favorite here on Nosebleed Perspective. I didn't want to leave that out. We still hate him.
Yeah, he sucks balls, dude.
Yeah, you watch him during this game, and it looks like he's thrown for 385 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, and he was just the guy. He's the reason. But no, obviously, he throws for less than 370 yards, throws an interception, and 0 touchdowns. So the running game was rolling, obviously. Tua, 11 for 20, 83 yards, and 1 touchdown. So not very productive throwing the ball downfield, obviously. So
welcome to the NFL, rookie,
Yeah, what can you do? What can you do?
I was in Denver for 5 days, and I, a couple times went downtown just to check out the scene, see what the city's like. That's a soft fan base. And I don't say that I saw a surprising amount of Kansas City Chief flags flying on a park. I saw a surprising amount of San Francisco 49ers flags flying while driving through the city. That is a fan base that is soft. I think that team's soft too. It's
probably all the weed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a very attractive spot these days. They were kind of one of the first states to take off with that, and they just kind of draws people in from everywhere. Yeah. So there's that going on. But hey, yeah,
whole city smells like weed, and that's not an exaggeration.
No, I bet. Hey, big shout out to Arizona. We just passed that law, so appreciate that. Housing value gonna go up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, this weekend, Vegas won big time. So I'll just admit this. I know I'm supposed to be one of the hosts for this show, but I went 2-14 in my picks against the spread this week, fellas. Oof. One game I picked on Sunday that was right. One game between Sunday and Monday. And and one of them was the Jets. The Jets game is one of them that I picked. So just a rough week. Fun fact, the Cowboys, Jets, Texans all combined 4-22-1 against the spread before Sunday. This week they all covered. So I'm just wondering if you guys had any thoughts about this past weekend, how that worked out for you all or anything like that. Dallas, do you have anything go wrong or good?
I mean, I've been getting hit the past 2 weeks. I've been losing on college football. I've been losing on pro football. The only thing that saved me was, Monday Night Miracle by the Rams. Now, I don't know. I mean, this is just one of those weird off weeks, I think. I think you're going to see things trend back to normal. Well, at least as normal as they can be. Whereas it felt like the full moon was out this week. Nothing was hitting for me either. And I'm going to turn it around this week for sure.
I hope so. Gibby?
I mean, I guess a few bets coming up. It's going to be Turkey Day, so the whiskey is going to be flowing, all that. I'm over here in Europe, so Turkey, like all the games start later, so I'll be nice and hammered before that. So I want to get my bets in before. I really like college basketball is coming back.
Let's go.
College basketball on Turkey Day. I really like the Jayhawks plus 4.5. I feel like that's a pretty good spread for them for a first game. The Zags, they lost their 3 big, like they're going to be a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they lost their 3 big guys. I hate them too. And I just feel like you can always make money on against Gonzaga because they're just overhyped. And so I like that. I like my boys, West Virginia, plus 9 against South Dakota State. They're going to be playing at 1 a.m. my time. No idea what time that is for you guys. And I like the Cowboys minus 2.5. I like that a lot, actually. Not a weird bet, but I'm feeling it for some reason.
Red Rifle.
I'm feeling the Red Rifle.
Yeah, I don't love that one because I am on the other side of it because I have it at Washington plus 3 right now, and I am all over I'm just taking the points. I mean, that's the way I look at that division right now.
Yeah, NFC
take the points. Walk away.
Are you all not taking the -4 with the Steelers over there against the Ravens? No.
I'm taking the Steelers also. Come on.
You have to take the Steelers. I think you have to take the Steelers in this one, man.
Everything last time we played, I took a money line.
I mean, I think Baltimore was favored last time, I believe, right?
Yes, you were. I think Steelers were +4 going into the game.
I just think the Steelers are going to come out and try and prove. I mean, they've already proven enough, but I think they come out and just prime time, the late game, Thanksgiving. Mike Tomlin. It's all the recipes in my mind for an ass beating. So, it's just my thoughts, but. Anything else you guys have or want to talk about this past week or anything coming up?
What do you got, Ben?
I mean, the only thing I really got is I think the Steelers win by 14. I don't think it's close. I think they dominate that Ravens team that's kind of down.
Well, I'm going to take the Steelers -13.5, and they better cover it.
That alternate spread can get you a lot of cash.
So now is Pat Mahomes just – gonna win MVP every season now? Every season he's healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, I get slammed for this on this show a lot, but I think it is Mahomes. The offense is Mahomes. I mean, as good as Travis Kelce is, as good as I hear weapons, but it's Mahomes. The whole thing is Mahomes. Like none of this happens. Like Alex Smith had them same weapons and it didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, there's already the Mahomes fatigue where people were like with Tom Brady, LeBron James, and them guys. Yeah, but I think he's not going to get votes just because of the fatigue. But I think right now, like he's got to be the MVP.
Well, I've been saying since week 1 of 2018 that Pat Mahomes is the GOAT. He is the greatest quarterback of all time. Me and Ben fight about it constantly. He is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. When they drafted him, I said this guy is going to be special, and I was right, dead on.
Yep. Well, yeah, I got Mahomes as MVP too. I think we just lost Mr. Ben there. But hey, that's about all we got here on a nosebleed perspective. So I thank you all for listening. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, all that Instagram stuff. Thanks for joining us, Dallas. I would thank Ben, but he just lost connection here at the end. So he's back, but we're wrapping up. Any final thoughts? We're about to wrap up here, bud.
Who's your MVP?
My MVP. Oh man. Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you with all
2 weeks ago, you hated this guy.
I know, and you know what? I know, and you guys can hit me on it, but he's changed my mind. if Big Ben can go 13-3, he should be legitimately in the MVP conversation because
they will go 13-3.
Other than Chase Claypool, all these weapons were there last year. Kind of the same thing. Had a great defense, but they were a middling team. You know what I mean? So at some point, the man does have to get some love. I still think he's not what he used to be, but at some point, you got to give the man at least a vote. You got to give him a vote because, I cut out when Gibby was talking about the offense as Patrick Mahomes. Those are a lot of weapons, man. Like if you say you're good, Tyreek Hill, Simon Pittsburgh.
You missed the second part of it.
Yeah, look, you know who else had those weapons though? Alex Smith. Yeah. What's it matter? It's all about the quarterback, dude. It's the NFL in 2020.
It's true.
Yeah,
the Ravens are dead.
I mute Ben every Sunday because I cannot handle his Big Ben slander.
That's all right. Well, hey, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for this Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day. It's just always the best. So glad you guys are highlighting it with the AFC North battle. That's Nosebleed Perspective. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it.